Nikolai Adams here with John Wensink at Upper Canada Golf Course. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure.
Okay, let's start with some rapid fire questions.
Not too fast.
Okay. The one player that you kind of went head to head with, game in, game out, was there one player that kind of stood out? You were always, you'd go out, you'd throw a hit against him and he'd come back at you. And
Paul Holmgren, every time I lined up, it seemed like he was on the other side of the right wing. And Paul Holmgren, we played, Philly and Boston, obviously. And so Paul, not that we, engaged in battles all the time, but he was always seemed to be on the ice.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was the trick? You're kind of the enforcer, but then you also put in 28 goals in a season. What's the trick to kind of melding the two together?
That might have been my downfall. When you're a big kid and a big player and you're standing in front of the net, there's pucks going to come in off your shin pads, off your butt. You're going to be in the area, rebounds, stuff like that. I think because I was the physical type of player, I had a little more room in front. So, the two kind of go together.
So go to the net and good things will happen.
Good things will happen. You got defensemen like Brad Park. He sees you going to the net. He's going to either find your stick or your shin pad or something, or the puck's going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about favorite player growing up?
Bobby Orr. I still got my helmet that I started in minor hockey in Maxwell, and it's got number 4 on the back. And Bobby Orr was the guy. That makes him sound a lot older than me, doesn't it?
Hey, impressive guy to watch, though.
You know what? If you're gonna have a good player, why not? I mean, if you're gonna have an idol, I think he's one of the best.
Favorite player to watch in the NHL currently?
Currently, there's a bunch of guys that have got a lot of skill. I don't really have a favorite one. I think there's a lot of good hockey players with a lot of good skill in the league right now. It's a fun game to watch. It's fast. I'm not sure I agree with all the rules. I guess some of the rules are there because of me playing in the past, but I think it's an exciting game. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with as many injuries as how can there be more head injuries now than when the guys played without helmets? And it wasn't that the guys didn't hit in the past. It's just there's an element, and I saw an article by Bobby not too long ago. He was concerned about the danger of the game now because it is so fast. They took the red line away, it opened it up, and I think they may have to address bringing that back together, bringing that back in.
So is that the kind of the most major change that you see in the game compared to when you played? Is it the red line being out, or is there something else that really stands out as just being completely different?
I think it's the puck skills that the guys have, the unbelievable condition that they're in. Not that, we were farm boys that worked on the farm all summer, showed up at training camp for 3 weeks and played, and then the season would start. These guys are conditioned, their diets are different. We get dehydrated after a game. We thought a 12-pack would put the hydration back in. We would eat a pregame steak at 1 o'clock. I mean, now the whole thing is a little more, I'm not going to say sophisticated, because it's just more, there's more involvement off the ice for the game on the ice. We would go to training camp to get in shape. They have to be in shape now. And I think if they brought the center line back in, it would slow it down a little bit. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the idea that they need bigger nets, smaller pads, and that. The goaltenders, I kind of jokingly say, maybe teams shouldn't be allowed to have goaltender coaches because the goaltenders are better now. And I watched not too long ago. I watched a replay of the Stanley Cup, greatest Stanley Cup finals or whatever it was. And it was Montreal against Boston in '78, I believe it was, and they beat us in 6 games. And I was watching, and I made a comment to my wife saying, "Man, it's so much slower." But some of that's technology on the camera work, but it's also the conditioning. But the plays were there. The thinking of the game was there. It's just everybody's so much faster now. They're just faster. Can't say they're that much bigger, because we used to have guys, Blair Robinson was a big boy, Peter McNabb was a big boy, Jerry Korab, there were some big guys in the league, but the game is just a little bit faster, and I also sit there and I watch. Sometimes I'm concerned about, and I made a comment earlier today with you guys, if I've got the puck, there's 5 guys coming to get it from me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the guys think they've got the puck and nobody's coming to get it from them. And they're not prepared to protect themselves.
Yeah, because your instincts can't get any quicker, right?
No,
the speeds
no,
get on quicker, but the instincts aren't quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with maybe one of your favorite memories from being with the Boston Bruins.
Oh, just getting called up. And the timing of it was unbelievable. There was rumor going on that I was actually going to be sent from the American League down to the East Coast League or whatever it was. And after a game I get called in, and when you get called in after a game, that's never a good thing. And I get called in, and I'm being told I'm flying to Boston, and I'm playing them. I'm in the lineup the next night.
Yeah.
So that's my first game for the Bruins. Not my first NHL game because I was with the Blues and I played 3 games with them. But that was pretty. Having the concern that maybe you're going further down to a lesser league, let's say, and then instead you're actually getting called up. So that was a plus. Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what? Top it off, I scored my first NHL goal in my first game with the Bruins, so that was good too.
And then you got stabilized. You played with the Bruins for several years, right?
Yeah.
And well, we were talking about Don Cherry earlier. Do you have a good story about Don?
You can't pick one out. Don is the story. I mean, he's just a great guy. Lives hockey on it. I mean, that's his life. He loves the game. I know sometimes people get a little, uneasy about some of the stuff he says, but you know what? When you really look at it and really listen to it, if you're a hockey person, he's not wrong. I mean, some of the things, the way he presents it sometimes is a little bit, whoa, where are you going with this, Don? And sometimes I'll watch him and I'll say, Don, where are you going with this? But at the end of the thing, if you're a hockey person and you've played the game, what he's saying is true. He's right on with it all the time.
He says it as loud as his jacket.
Yes, yeah. I mean, go to a drapery place and make a jacket. Pick out a color. Pick out one of the drapery patterns for his jacket. I love Don. Great friend. He'll be a friend for life. And even hopefully we meet again and get together again on the other side.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention the North Stars match and the infamous kind of challenging the bench.
I just spent about an hour, 2 hours with you, and I was talking about stuff. Yeah. So now you're using that as
a little
fodder.
bit of leverage.
Yeah. You know what? It was a spur of the moment thing. I get asked a lot. What were you thinking? Well, I probably wasn't thinking. And it's really not the fact that nobody came off the bench. Not what I necessarily did. It was nobody came off the bench. That was an era where that still happens. I don't know why I did it. But it's still out there.
At least you didn't beat anyone with a shoe. We know someone else did that with the fan, right?
I know.
Now, my favorite question. What's one of your favorite movies?
I always, Paint Your Wagon, and I really don't have an answer why that's my favorite movie, because I don't go to the theater, I don't go to a lot of stuff like that, but it's a Western movie, and I like Western movies. 2 good actors in it, Clint Eastwood and Lee Marvin, and maybe just Lee Marvin's character, that type of thing.
And putting them out of their comfort zone, right? They're not used to singing and doing that
type
of thing.
Exactly, yeah. And I can't sing, but I try.
Well, we'll see you under a wandering star sometime, and thanks for doing this.
Hopefully. All right.
That was excellent.
That was excellent.